I'm back. Sorry. I was gonna stream yesterday, but I was so freaking tired. Daylight savings, like, totally destroyed my sleep schedule. It was really bad. I feel like there's something about daylight savings where just the prospect of losing an hour of sleep makes my brain be like, okay, let's not sleep at all. That's fine. And, like, that's what my brain does. So I just didn't sleep that first day. And then I slept like 10 hours, and then I slept like 10 hours again. But I'm gonna try to fix it a little bit tonight. I'm gonna try to do my regular shtick, my regular deal. I did get some sheets for all the yinzers out there. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So basically, I haven't really put a lot of thought into this whole, like, mystery Vern Castle puzzle of doom, but I'm almost certain she's pulling some fucky shit, and it's Battler. I'm pretty certain it's Battler. Or that it's, hold up, let's do the culprit select. I'm almost certain it's gonna be, like, these three. Or maybe just these. I'm trying to figure out, my goal today is probably finish this. And I'm pretty sure it's these three. Or at least these two, like, at least any combination of Battler and one or both of his parents. Which we now know Perry is actually his mom, which is sick. Because we do run into this very unique kind of problem where Battler only really has to lie about one of his parents not being dead. Can the murder be committed with both of his parents being dead is the question. Or with both his parents being alive. Or with only one parent being alive. And I almost want to say no. And the reason why is I think it's going to be too hard to figure out between Rudolph and Kyrie which one is helping Battler. So I do want to say I think both are helping him. Additionally, I've talked about this before, and I think I talked about it I talked about it at the beginning of my last live stream, but the whole thing with George and Maria, their whole kind of relationship. I think this whole thing from Maria, I think Maria's just fucking with us. I think the only reason why Maria said this is to fuck with me. Because we've established that the only children, really, besides, Shannon, besides Jessica, who are dead, are Shannon and Cannon, who are like 16, 15. I'm not gonna think about it too hard and be like, well, Sayo's actually 19, so whatever. No. Plus, we know it's basically been confirmed, and I forget by whom. Oh, it's by him. Well, that's fine. Let's go to the fourth Twilight. Who confirms? Yeah, Jessica, who we know to be innocent. We know George couldn't have killed Shannon, and thusly he could not have killed Cannon. And we know by Maria's statement that he didn't kill, Jessica. So that basically leaves Battler and his folks, who could have done everything. So I'm gonna just kind of jump back in, because I haven't read these since Wednesday, or whatever the last time my stream was. So let's just, like, read this with the idea of Battler doing the murders. His parents are actually alive. Let's try to figure it out. The tragedy of the first Twilight was discovered at 6 in the morning on the following day. Goda's waking up, he's getting breakfast, super chill. He's checking on the adult siblings, who remained in the dining hall upstairs at the family conference. We know Goda is innocent. We know pretty much everybody's innocent. Oh my goodness. Incident. They're telling the truth.
そこに私が来たのです。万一のこともあるから、鍵を開けてみたらと勧めたのです。
I think the person who killed was like the committed. The person who did the first Twilight killed 4 of the adults in here, plus Natsui and Kraus to make 6. So that's all chill. Like this works. It's all good. Yep, super cool. There's a chance I might have been alive. Everyone was shaking them desperately. But it was no use. Each of the children.
僕と南條先生が
年ごたらしい殺され方私でなくとも誰も検視は謝りません。
And we know Battler's lying. Thank you, Maria.
食堂内を調べた結果、扉も窓もすべて。
そして食堂内から不審なものは何も見つからなかった。
Yeah, like this could be a lie.
もちろん食堂内に何者かが隠れているということも。
私たちは今ここに全員誰も隠れていないことは明確だ。
No one is hiding.
でも父さん、
But Dad, if that's
とな
true,
ると
it
お
doesn't
か
make
しいよ。
sense.
殺された6人、食堂は密室。どうやって殺して逃げたんだ。
考えたくはありませんが、マスターキーを持つ使用人が怪しいでしょう。
You'd think. But basically, this murder happened by Kyrie and, well, it's either Kyrie or Rudolph. One of them killed all the people in here, and then they just locked the door. It's that simple.
6人を殺し、マスターキーで施錠して食堂を出た。妥当な推理だ。
God, I love you, Goda. I would never ever hate you. I'm so not a Goda hater anymore. I take back any bad ill will I ever had towards you, Goda. You're so wholesome and so sweet, and we love you. Except they just didn't exit the room. They were still in the room. Everyone else also lacked an alibi as well. So basically, any amount of things could have been done to set that up.
外から施錠する手段は
存在しない。これじゃダメね。赤き真実で。
Sorry for everybody who has to rewatch me kind of just like litigating this shit again, but
もちろん部屋の内側からは
I do just want to give that quick. Sorry, my Lambda voice is better.
マスターキーの他にも各部屋固有の鍵があるはずでは。
Nope.
本来ならでも赤きしマスターキー以外の鍵は。
I like how Burn has kind of streamlined it for us.
全ての施錠はマスターキーでしか開け閉めができないってわけだ。
そうなるわね。実にシンプルなゲームだわ。
となれば次はマスターキーの本数と所持者を確定せねばな。
How is the Japanese word for master key just master key?
マスターキーは合計5本。5人の使用人が1本ずつを持ってる。特別な方法で管理されていて。
But the word for key is different.
マスターキーは常に身につけられており、奪うことも譲渡することも。
Okay, that's fine. I have no conniptions or whatever the phrase is. I really hope I'm right, by the way. I might just be fucking totally wrong. We'll see.
それはもはや鍵ってより指紋認証システムみたいなもんだな。
面白い例えよ。つまり
But we know all the servants are chill and cool.
云々ではなく、使用人5人にしか開閉はでき
The
ない。
the servants' master keys really don't play into this. It's more so about just the seals. And who, like, helped do that. Ugh, I have a milkshake, too.
どうにもならなくてね。
後のトラブルを予防するため現時のマスターキーを破壊しておきました。
I have no idea how these statements work together. I don't know if it doesn't make any sense to me how, oh, we had no luck to retrieve Genji-san's key. Also, we destroyed the key. But we do know they're both innocent, so it doesn't matter. So I think my theory here about anyone just either Rudolph or Kyrie killing 4 of them, that's fine. It works. And just locking the door. That's all they had to do. Simple, easy, done. Second Twilight. Let's explain this one. Everyone returned to the parlor to discuss what should be done next. The phones were out, so they couldn't contact the police. Was the mysterious culprit hiding away somewhere, planning to attack their next victim at this very moment? Or was the culprit in here with them, mentally sticking out their tongue and tasting their next prey? None of them had alibis, and any one of them could have been a culprit. Ooh. However, that tense feeling didn't last long. By midday, everyone got tired of arguing. They had to take a break. These two were going upstairs. For whatever reason. It doesn't even matter. And this gives opportunity to Battler to either let... I'm actually not very particularly interested about how they got inside Krause or Natsui's room. Who's to say they even locked... I don't think they really locked it. What's all this then? Hi, Eric. Probably gonna finish this shit up tonight. I'm pretty sure it's Battler, Rudolph, and or Kyrie. But probably all 3 of them makes more sense. Considering it would be basically impossible to distinguish whether or not it was Krause, or not Krause, Rudolph or Kyrie. I feel like it's just both, and I'm overthinking things. However, no matter how much time passed, Krause and Natsui were the only ones who didn't return. So basically, because we know the person who committed the first Twilight killed 6 people, at least by this point, all it would have taken for... I'm not gonna think that Krause and Natsui like necessarily... No, they would have had to have locked their room. How did they do that? Was somebody... Okay, we'll have to just keep reading this. Because there has to be Rudolph and or Kyrie in here, or some method by which they could have gotten out. Let me see what they say about somebody hiding in there with them. Because this is what I don't remember. Yep, they're all dead. Woohoo! And we do know they're actually dead, for real. The door was locked. Cool. Thank you. I don't think Battler is lying about this particular statement. This makes sense. Yeah, see, he corroborates. For me, what really helped me out, Eric, was rereading and then just kind of finding out in the white text that Nanjo and Jessica were innocent, and using that to like prove a bunch of other people innocent, and then using all those people to put together like a story that worked. And it came down to yeah, Sudoku's a good analogy for that. Basically what it came down to was either I was looking at Battler's family or George's family. And unfortunately, just based off Maria's statements, which I do think makes sense, and basically give George no like opportunity to kill a child because Jessica confirms that George couldn't have done it. I don't think George ever had an opportunity to kill a child or an adult, thus making him not a murderer, and thus everything he says is true. That leaves Battler.
あれは間違いなく即死でした。
Like, just knowing the things that the game sets you up for, like, people aren't necessarily dead when they say they are. Just so many, little things the game was teaching you to figure out this shit. And that's what I think this has been such a really cool and interesting way to end Umineko, is it really has taken everything the game has showed me from Heppel's Raven to, like, all this goofy shit and just finally putting it together. This game is fucking awesome. What if I'm wrong, though? That'd be funny. Okay. I just need to see anything about somebody hiding in this room. Yep, we know that. That's true. So as long as somebody could just be hiding in here.
今度はさらに完璧な密室だっていい。
最初の密室には全員、そして今度の密室には全員。
この世界では使用人たちそのものがその使用人たちのアリバイが。
I don't think Kraus and Natsui would have locked the door to begin with. I think somebody snuck in and locked the door and killed them and then locked the door.
僕たちは現場を保全。
Oh, it works perfectly. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Maria. So it was both of Battler's parents, because it doesn't even matter whether it's Rudolph or Kyrie in here. We know that one of them is now locked in this, is now sealed with the packing tape. In this room, in their room. However, we know the person who confirms the packing tape in the dining room when the first murder happened was Battler. So he could have very easily let either one of his parents who had not killed Kraus and Natsui to go help him commit the rest of the murders. This is probably the bit. I feel like what was so interesting about this too, to me, is like there's actually not even a lot of lies coming from Battler, assuming he is the killer, which I do believe he is. Like, he doesn't always tell lies, even though he could. I think that's interesting writing. So we know this is a lie. We also seal the dining hall in the same way. Well, it's maybe is a half truth. But Battler was the one, I believe, to let either one of his parents out by that point. The one that hadn't gone to go kill Kraus and Natsui. And just by way of the order of this happening, we know that one of Battler's parents left the room, or left the mansion, before Nanjo and the rest had sealed it. That leaves one parent still in the mansion, one with Battler following him out. Right? It's so crazy how long I've spent just hating Nanjo. But ultimately, Nanjo being proved innocent in this one very specific case actually made him super freaking convenient. Because he could, he confirmed so many other deaths that it made him the real freaking MVP of this riddle. It was the only good thing Nanjo's ever done.
窓全部をベタベタとかな。はしごをかけて3階の窓まで。
Sure.
ゲームが複雑にな全ての窓には鉄格子が入って
The windows are not a big
玄関
deal.
と裏口の2つの扉を封印するだけで屋敷は封印できる。
なるほどな。そりゃ簡単だ。
Yeah. Exactly.
どう考える？
Motif.
夏日おばさんの部屋にいた2人を殺すこと自体はたやすい。ノックをして開けても
And
ら
they
えばいい
never
だ
said
けだ。
anything about anyone hiding in Natsui in Krause's room. I know, this game is just so good. I'll literally probably be spending the rest of my freaking life recommending this game for people only to have them never play it. Like, this is the fate I have been consigned to. I just have to keep telling people to play Umineko, but they're never gonna do it because this game's freaking long.
施錠は使用人にしかできないわ。使用人全員には
No, Beatrice, not all the servants can lock doors. Servants can only lock doors from the outside. Yeah.
使用人全員がグルって可能性さえなければな。俺はそれより第一の番。
Shut up, Battler. This is like the one time.
6人の誰かが生きていて
I think Burn is just doing it to mess with me,
どういう
though.
ことか。
エリカの影響どうにも剣士ってやつを疑わずにはいられね
つまり最初の食堂の6人の犠牲者の誰かが生きていたと。
え。ああ、そしてその後、そして内側から施錠し、室内に隠れていて。
Wait, Battler's actually freaking... He is hiding this shit in plain sight. Battler's right about this.
筋の通った推理であるぞ。
赤で語る第一の番の犯人
Yep.
が確実に6
ならば密室の正体はこうだ。犯人は内側から施錠し、そして一同が
I don't even think they necessarily need an opportunity to escape. I've never watched the X-Files. But as I said, it ruined freaking Knives Out 3 for me. That was my shit it ruined. I solved Knives Out 3, like, instantly. I just learned, like, I think about Umineko and, like, use Umineko logic, like, in my day-to-day life. I'm like, oh, this shit wasn't said with the red truth. Just like we love Umineko, how it, like, gets, I forget the word, I always mention, I remember the word, forget the word, but it's epistemology, right? The nature of truth? No, not quite. It is embarrassing. Yeah, epistemology is how we know things. I forget the word. I'm not a philosophy head.
いいわ。一同は体質とその体質に犯人は加わらない。
Burn Castle? Yeah, etymology is the study of words. That is something I'm much more familiar with, because I am an etymology head. The group sealed the room at the same time. Burn, that doesn't disprove Beatrice's theory.
そして夏日の部屋、食堂、
And that's fine.
すべての封印は決
ってことはつまりベッドの下に隠れて
They aren't slipping out later, Lambda. They're just chill. They're chilling.
なかなかだぜ。ベルンカス。
どうも
Okay, let's just keep double checking. This is the crime of the second Twilight. The scene was Natsui's room, a locked, closed room. This time, all of the servants with master keys have alibis. A whole group, realizing the dangers of being inside the mansion, took shelter in the guest house. Alright, it's so chill. Yeah, Burns' noob game. Burn really did, like, streamline everything. All those who took refuge in the guest house decided to hold up there until the typhoon passed. There, if everyone watched everyone else, they should be able to prevent further crimes from both the inside and outside. However, they wouldn't be able to keep it up without any breaks until the typhoon passed. Once again, their actions left a weak point open, and they were faced with yet another tragedy. Yeah, so we're gonna say, my theory with this one is one of the parents was still outside, and they killed Shannon and Ken when they went out there. I've tried to play Outer Wilds, but I'm terrible at puzzles like that. I've tried to play it like 3 times, and I just can't. Like, I feel like a total, like, I just can't do it. But it seems to me to be a very wholesome game, and I haven't spoiled anything about it for myself. So it's just a game that's like oh, one day I'll finish that type beat. Okay, so they all go outside to look.
シャノンさんはバラ庭園に倒れておりました。ほいたわ。
生きててくれと願ったさ。
Yeah, I see what you mean. I tried that, but I feel like I was just so non-linear in the way I played it. Like, I would just wanted to explore. Like, exploring everything was just so much fun. Like, figuring out, oh, I want to go to the quantum moon, or like shit like that. Like, that was fun in and of itself. It's just exploring that little solar system. It was so much fun.
でも僕は彼女が死んでいることを認めなければならなかった。
Also, one more reason we can confirm George as telling the truth is here is that he does confirm Shannon's death, and this works with everyone else's testimony.
2人が出かけた時、私たちはゲストハウスの戸締まりを確認するために、だから私たちにはみんなアリバイがないのです。
But it's fine. I really don't think either any of them need an alibi.
僕が殺す、僕に殺せるものか。
Shut up, George. Don't care.
ジョージお兄ちゃんには殺せないね。
Why does she say like that? It's wrong. Goda's freaking huge for no reason. He's totally yoked. Later on, we learned that George Nissan alone had an alibi. Jessica really saved us with that truth. And this is Battler, like, trying to, like, make things more ambiguous than they actually are. But that's fine. I don't think the master keys are a big deal here. Yep, that's fine.
無粋だからシャノンが死んだんだからそういうことになる。
つまり死体はなくともシャノンとカノンは同時に殺されたという解釈で良いのか。
God, replaying Umineko eventually is gonna be crazy when I do it. Because then I'll just actually try to solve all the freaking mysteries instead of just like reading Umineko. And that'll be interesting. Yeah, right? Okay. This was the crime of the fourth twilight. The scene was the rose garden. There were no locks or doors, and it wasn't a closed room, so the master keys were no longer a factor. And then, the pace of the crimes began to accelerate. Alright, this is almost done. Everyone took shelter in the guest house. It carefully sealed all the doors and windows, locking them in a closed room. Themselves in a closed room. However, several closed room murders had already occurred. Could locking themselves in a closed room do anything more than invite another tragedy? Exactly. So basically, we need to either have a way... We just need to have a way, I think, where Battler kills people in here. That makes a lot of sense. Or if Battler doesn't kill people in here, because Battler has to kill at least one person. So does Kyrie. Well, either Kyrie or Rudolph. Just take your pick. After arguing fiercely in the cousin room about finding the culprit, they decided that they should double-check Nanjo Kumasawa and Goda's testimony. Another tragedy occurs. And they're dead.
この傷で生きてるわけあるもんか。
That's very Goda of him.
死んでるよ。幸田さんも熊沢さんも。
戸締まり確認とか見回りとか今回もまた俺たち全員アリバイがない。
So, Battler could have let one of them in to kill both of them. One of his parents in to kill both of them.
そんなことはない見てた。あんな殺し方をした。絶対に犯人は返り血を浴びるはずなんだ。
In fact, we do know, based off that it probably was one of Battler's parents. That lets him lie. Nope, Goda's a wholesome cinnamon roll. He would kill absolutely no one. I only have good opinions about Goda now. Goda's my man. He's just a chill dude who wants to cook and like have a good time.
私たち全員は、つまり
Okay, so the killer here is one of Battler's parents. Another one.
熊沢さんは殺せない。
となれば犯人は俺たち以外の誰かであることは明白。
何者かの侵入を疑って調べたけれど、ゲストハウス
But George, you made a mistake. They locked the door after they let the parent in. If I saw Goda getting mugged, I would keep walking. Not join in? Perhaps the culprit has a master key after all. No, he doesn't need a master key.
マスターキーはもうここで死んでる2人の2本以外存在しない。
現存する2本のマスターキーが、こうしてゲストハウスは完璧な密室なんだ。
完璧でないから人が死んだんだけどね。
Thank you, Maria. Alright, this is almost over. Now, I think Battler killed Nanjo. Is my theory. Battler needs to kill Nanjo. This time Dr. Nanjo was killed. He died in the entrance of the guest house. It was far too foolish of him to come here alone to check that everything was locked. Or even if... honestly, Battler doesn't even have to kill Nanjo, I think. But I think it's going to be a lot easier for my theory if he has an opportunity. I could work something out the other way, but I'd rather not. Yeah, instant death. Let's just say he was shot. Right?
は完璧だよ。密室なのにどうして？
It's not a closed room, Maria.
じゃあ俺たちの中に犯人が。
それは状況から判断して、私にもマリアにもバトラにもジ
Okay.
ョージ兄さんにも南條先生は殺せない。
そもそもゲストハウス内で南條先生を殺すことは不可能なんだ。
Okay, that's a problem.
つまりこいつは南條先生がゲストハウスを出ていない。
Okay, lie. Easy. Fine. Danjo did leave the guest house.
じゃあ南條先生は殺せない。
Let's say Nanjo left the guest house and was killed by Kairi. Well, just killed by a parent.
なのになんで殺されてるの？
But who does Battler kill? Unless Battler killed one of the people in the beginning, which works as well. I mean, that's what I've talked about that before. It just seems like a good inference for me. Because I think Battler could not have killed Jessica. Let's just say Battler maybe helped his parents kill people in the beginning. And I think that works fine as a theory. Because no one has an alibi. It's all, like, super chill. Anybody could have been anywhere doing anything. So, let's just say it adds up that... I'm pretty sure if I just crunch the math, it works out. I don't really want to do the math, because I don't want to write anything down. But I'm just going to assume there's a way this all logically works. Like, maybe the victim, the person on the first Twilight. I mean, there's so many ways this could have happened. I don't really think the details of that.
これで生きていけ。
俺たち、俺もジョージの兄貴も。
Okay, he also could have killed her.
殺せねえぞ。
私たちさん。
Okay, that's fine. Never mind. I changed my mind. Battler could not have killed her.
マリアちゃんには誰も殺せないよ。
ジョージお兄ちゃん子供は殺し。
Okay, whatever. I don't think I'm pretty sure it's right. I'm pretty sure it's super chill and cool. I have no freaking regrets. I'm almost certain this is right. I don't have the numbers and the math down all the way to make sure it works, but I'm pretty sure it does. Because just of the nature of the ambiguity of the first Twilight. Like, Battler, like, there could have been some weird permutation combination way Battler, Kyrie, and Rudolph, like, one of them kills 6 people, and then one of them kills everybody else. I'm not that worried about it. I think this is super chill and right. Yes! Woo! We fucking did it! I don't really own that achievement, by the way. I did use 3 hints, or 2 or 3 hints. Never fucking doubt me, baby. I used my 3 hints. I think that was enough. There's 20 hints. I only used 3. The fact that I got it all off based off that, I'm gonna take it. Okay. I'm proud. Very cool. This is like the moment. That was like the moment I was waiting for. Somebody! Is anyone there? Oni-chan! Ah! Angie flew out of the guest house, sobbing. Is there anyone still alive on this island? Oh wait, keep voices on. Okay. When she checked the cousin room earlier, it had been completely empty. However, she remembered that she hadn't seen Battler, George, or Maria's bodies. What she didn't know was whether this meant they were safe, or whether she was about to be reunited with them as corpses. Okay, that's fine. It's chill. Where are they? Where? Answer me! She dashed around through the rain. Where was she going? Nowhere in particular. The lost little sister dashed around in circles, searching for her brother. Drenched with rain and all alone. I'm so fucking hyped. I'm so glad I fucking did that. Eventually, I thought I heard my brother's voice from beyond a bush. No, it wasn't just his voice. I heard George Oni-chan's and Maria One-chan's voices too. I called out at the top of my lungs, but they didn't answer. But it's okay now. They're right there. Just on the other side of the fence. I could even faintly see them through the fence. When I ran around the fence, I found myself standing in front of a shed or something. I feel like I'm about to watch... She's about to watch Battler kill 2 people, which is gonna be really fucked up. It must be a shed or something to store tools for the rose garden. The 3 of them were standing in front of the shed. Oni-chan! I cried out, but my voice didn't reach them. Even though I yelled so loudly, something felt very wrong about all of this. When people hear a voice, even when they pretend not to have heard it, their bodies tend to show some sign that they've noticed. However, there was no trace of that in the 3 of them. Even though I was screaming so loud, it truly wasn't reaching their ears. The instant I understood that, my dash towards them slowed and came to a halt. I like hear somebody, like, I don't know if they're drunk or... What the fuck is going on? Neighbors are fucking weird, dog. Though we appeared to be in the same world, we were actually in different worlds entirely. It was like seeing someone on TV. Or was it more like seeing a ghost? I could see them clearly, but as far as they were concerned, I didn't exist. After all, look. Even if I stand in front of them, their eyes can't see me. If I try to touch them, will I really be able to? What if my hand just went right through? I was so scared at the thought that I could do nothing but stand there in shock, even though I was so close to them. Damn it! I don't have a clue anymore. Someone must have snuck in from the outside the island after all. They're massacring the Ushiramiya family. No matter how we lock ourselves in, someone always gets killed. Ugh! It's the work of a witch after all. Everyone calm down. Let's calm down and think. No one exists on this island except those with a direct relation to the Ushiramiya family. That doesn't make sense. After all, we've just seen several murders that would be impossible for any one of us. Well, that's true. But is it really? Maybe we've just missed something. Missed something? For example... That's right, maybe someone was playing dead. Since we're the only ones on this island that culprit must be one of us. That means someone we thought was dead was actually faking. But Aniki, that's impossible. Every one of the corpses was checked by someone. There's no way any of them were faking. I don't want to think about it. But what if those corpse inspections were also fake? Fucking Maria doing the Tim Allen home improvement noise again. It could have gone like this. There were multiple culprits from the start. Then, one plays dead, the other lies and confirms that the first culprit died. Then, the culprit who played dead keeps on committing crimes, creating the illusion that some stranger has snuck onto the island. Do you still suspect someone in the Ushirimiya family of being the culprit? Dr. Nanjo was killed, so it's probably safe to say that he isn't the culprit, and we can consider the examinations performed by a doctor like him to be the most reliable. If so, then it's fair to say that the people whose death Nanjo checked were almost certainly dead. Who did Nanjo check? Genji's corpse, Kraus and Natsui's corpses, Shannon's corpse, Goda and Kumasawa's corpses. Think back to the beginning and the bodies in the dining hall. Of those 6 victims, Dr. Nanjo only inspected Genji-san. But didn't the rest of us check the others? Yes, but Dr. Nanjo didn't actually inspect them himself. What are you talking about? How the hell could our parents have survived after being killed like that? Anyway, what do you think you're saying, George Aniki? Wouldn't that mean that one of our parents is the culprit? That's insane. They were killed right at the beginning, and so many of them. How can you accuse our parents of being killers after that? I won't let anyone, not even you, suspect and slander our parents after they've been killed like that. Sorry. I know my mama was really dead, so that means... Does that mean George Oni-chan's parents or Battler's parents were the culprits? Let's stop this, Maria-chan. I must have lost it a bit back there. George Oni-chan wouldn't kill Shannon. That's enough. None of us would kill members of our family, right? So, I don't think George Oni-chan would lie and say his parents were dead. Not if they were really alive. There's no way George Oni-chan would help out in a crime if Shannon was going to be killed. That's also a really good point that I hadn't considered. I hadn't thought of it like that. Calmly, as though answering a quiz or a riddle, Maria spoke to George. Then, with a blank look on her face, she turned to Battler and spoke. I'm so fucking hyped I actually got that. I'm so proud. Battler, you saw your dad and mom's corpses, right? Yeah, I saw them. We all saw them, right? Those pitiful, blood-stained... I think you're lying. Huh? Where the hell did that come from? Because that way it all makes sense. Back in the dining hall, Battler's parents weren't dead. One of them killed Aunt Natsui and Uncle Kraus, locked the door from the inside, and waited in that room. The other one took over the murders after that. To break open the closed room of the guest house, they needed to have an accomplice inside. That was Battler. That explains everything. Enough! Stop it, Battler-kun! You too, Maria-chan! Finally, all the pieces fit together in the wolves and sheep puzzle in my head. Culprits are Battler's family. Ugh. Am I right? What are you talking about? Yeah. Maria's clever. Correct. The voice came from behind Angie. She spun around, surprised. There, covered in blood, yet wearing cheery expressions, were Rudolph and Kyrie. Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Kyrie, I'm so glad yours. After saying that much, George realized what his words meant, and his face twisted into an expression of shock and horror. Maria wasn't surprised. However, she showed no joy at having her answer proved correct. And as for Battler, Angie saw it. That terrible expression, one that she would never forget as long as she lived. It was a demon's smile. A hideous demon that she'd never see again twisted its face in a foul grin. And the truly horrible thing was that she saw it on her brother's face. Rudolph and Kyrie lifted up the guns they had been holding behind them. The barrels pointed at the foreheads of George, who had staggered backwards, and Maria, who grinned as though she was beyond caring what happened next. There was a flash of lightning and a crack of thunder. Nothing more could be heard. Then, as George and Maria were snapped around by that roar, the strings holding them were snipped like puppets. The two dolls fell into puddles with a splash, stopped moving. Dad. Mom. All of this occurred right before Angie's eyes. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Also, look at what they did to Kyrie here. Jesus Christ. Also, evil Battler really fucking scares me. Angie, who stood stunned beside them, wasn't visible to their eyes. They guffawed, overcome with laughter. Then, right in front of Angie, they started joking and complimenting each other on their kills so far. He is? Oh my god. I was gonna do like a joke fighting game stream, but that shit is like $30. For like a fucking $2 game. It's $25. I'm not playing it. If I ever have like goofy money, I'll buy it. This is like it looks like a fucking browser game. Made Angie want to cry and vomit at the same time, and felt as though she would suffocate. Can you actually not do that, Angie? No, got it. He's gonna cry and vomit. Angie dashed away, covering her mouth. He wanted to escape the disgusting laughter coming from her beloved family as soon as possible. Then she slipped away and fell face down in a puddle of mud. That sucks. She didn't try to get up. In fact, she instead chose to cover her ears to block out that disgusting laughter that she could still hear. As she did, from the shadows of the fences, and the bushes in this inky black rose garden, several dark things slipped into sight. Oh, the goats! Angie looked around in surprise to see eerie black shapes appearing from all over the rose garden and slowly surrounding her. It was a crowd of people with goat heads. Their outfits were all different. Some wore suits, while others were dressed casually. However, all of them were covered with darkness, and all of them had goat heads. Okay. Angie, bewildered, accidentally let her hands fall from her ears. By now, she couldn't hear that disgusting laughter. However, in their place, she could hear the words spoken by the goats. As the goats continued to mumble in eerie voices, they surrounded Angie and began to draw nearer. Oh, they were creepy. I don't think I've ever heard the goats' voices before. I'm terrified. They all pressed around her, each of them naming Angie's family as the culprits. At first, everyone joined in on the Ava culprit theory. The sole survivor from Rokonjima got almost all the wealth to herself, so such a theory was only natural. Why was Ushiramiya Ava the only one who escaped to Kuwadorian? And why did she refuse so stubbornly to talk about what happened that day? It was decided that the Ava culprit theory fit all of these facts. However, when Ava died of illness, and people learned that all the vast wealth she had created by unscrupulous means would go to Angie, public opinion, or rather the forgers, created and spread a new culprit theory. This was the Rudolph's family culprit theory. If it was normal for everyone to come to the family conferences, why was Angie the only one who didn't come this time? Did Rudolph's family have some reason for not bringing the young Angie with them? Or did they did take Battler, but he wasn't Kairi's son. Then, when it was revealed in some magazines that Kairi's family had close ties to a massive gangster organization, all eyes suddenly gathered on Kairi herself. The truth of how Rudolph had made a killing out of fraudulent business practices was also laid bare, and almost immediately the couple became thought of as the most suspicious people in the island. Hideyoshi and Ava's company might have been heavy-handed at times, but at least it had operated within the law. However, the more Rudolph's company was investigated, the more dirt was dug up. Furthermore, testimony was dug up about various scandals involving party tickets. What? Party tickets? From the time Rudolph and Kairi were students. And it was clear that they were far more suspicious than Ava's family? And so, in a flash, the Rudolph family culprit theory expelled the other conspiracy theories, including the Ava culprit theory, and reigned as the greatest of them all. It wasn't really because it was more plausible than the Ava culprit theory. They had just gotten bored of the old theory and wanted a new sensation. The goats seemed to bend and undulate. Oh, I love that word. That's a great word. The sky rapidly turned white, becoming a ceiling lit by fluorescent lamps. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god. This is fucked up. Angie, are you okay? The goats had changed completely, becoming the shapes of girls wearing goat masks. All of the girls were wearing the same clothes. It was a uniform. The uniform of St. Lucia Academy. Asking if Angie is okay always results in a no. Yeah, no. She's not okay.
そうだよね。娘だけ置いてくなんてなんかおかしいもんね。
後宮エヴァって確か本人は毒殺されてるって訴えてんでしょ。じゃあもう黒幕は誰か明白。
Oh, and they for some reason think that Angie poisoned Ava? Oh yeah, whatever, dog.
いいよね。一族の財産すべて独り占めなんでしょ。
やっぱルドルフ一家犯人説だって思ってたんだよね。
後宮さんってどこかおかしいって思ってたんだよね。おかしいと思ってたよね。ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
バトラも犯人じゃないの？
ルドルフ一家犯人説。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
This is so fucking sad.
財産を独り占めにしようと
I don't believe it. Say that shit in the gold truth, motherfucker.
失敗して。
でも結局は後宮園児の独り占めなんでしょ。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人だって。 ルドルフ一家犯人説。
ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。
ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。後宮さんのご家族が犯人なんですって。
それってどう思う？ねえね
でも結局財産は全てあなたが独り占めできるんでしょ。後宮エヴァはそれであなたには何も語らなかったのよ
え。
ね。
絶対にあの子が怪しいって思ってた
Oh
の。
my god. These people are rude.
エヴァがあんたに辛く当たったことも全て説明がつくわ。ねえねえ、何か言ってよ、感想とか。
ほんと気持ち悪い
Bullying
くらいね。
sucks.
ルドルフ一家犯人説ってどう思うか。ちょっとくらい何か言いなさいよ。感じ悪い。
A blade of air swept over me as I crouched down, holding my head. In a flash, the illusion of female students with goat heads that surrounded me shattered. I was curled up in a puddle in the rainy rose garden, surrounded by goats. But then, those goats were also sliced in half. Willard? 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 And the upper halves slid to the side. It was like seeing a master swordsman slicing through a stick of bamboo.
こっち。
Who was that? The voice came from that black cat. Oh, is that Burn? The black cat with the bell that had guided me here. Incredible that it can talk. But that doesn't matter right now. I dashed after it. The goat shrank back. A hole opened up in the encirclement. The black cat dashed through it. As I hurried through it, the goats began to chase after me. Countless heavy footsteps thundered behind us.
どこまで逃げるの、黒猫さん。
The cat ignored my stupid question. Where are we running to? It's obvious. As far away as we can make it. However, there was an unbelievable number of goats. It wasn't just the group chasing us. There were probably goats hiding throughout the rose garden, and everywhere we went, a group of them would appear and block our path. Each time we bumped into them, we ran down a different path in this maze of a rose garden. So I didn't even know which direction we were running anymore. It couldn't be... We aren't running around in circles inside a massive crowd of goats, are we? When we ran into the arbor once more, I learned that my fears were justified. The 4 paths that led from the arbor were all blocked by a crowd of goats. Of course, the path we had come down was also blocked by our pursuers. There was nowhere to go and nowhere to return to. Did she just lead Angie into a trap? We were finally trapped.
黒猫さん、どうしよう。囲まれた。
The black cat glared at the goats that surrounded us, standing on guard. It's all over for us. At that moment, I found myself floating in the air. A massive arm, large enough to crush my entire head. Oh, like she's a chess piece and she's getting picked up off the board, and grabbed my collar from behind. What the fuck is this? Before I could even think to cry out, I saw, right in front of my face, a pair of strangely glowing red eyes and a massive mouth with jagged teeth and a foul breath. The mouth opened wide, and as though it was a separate creature, a bizarre tongue stuck itself out. Ew. And it spat words at me. I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe it. Well, not like in general. Then that gaping, smelly mouth slowly began to close over Angie's head. Come on, Willard!
反論
Who is that?
ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です
I still don't. Is that Ow Ow? It's possible to form a logical theory other than the Rudolph's family culprit theory. A blue flash sliced off the top of the mouth that was trying to eat Angie's head, sending it flying. I fell into a puddle, along with the goat that was still grasping my collar, though there was nothing left above its chin. Without any hesitation, the goats stretched out their thick arms as though they'd been given a second chance to snatch this prey for themselves, and they rushed towards me. All of them spoke in unison. Well, I feel like a shitbird that I reached this freaking ending. Like, I reached this. Like, this is what I freaking brought upon this earth. This was all my idea. I don't think it's absolutely impossible.
ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジ
It's
ックの
possible
構
to...
築は可能です
I did read Umineko without love.
例えばジョージ一家犯人説でも可能です
Is it? Like, only within the context of Burns' game. Which is not the truth of what happened on Rokkenjima. There's no way. A red flash and a blue line became blades of wind that passed over my head, doubly slicing the arms of a goat that tried to pick me up. I think the next goat's dash, not towards me, but towards the black cat that was protecting me from behind. As I sat on my butt, staring up towards the rainy night sky, the massive goats were in the air right above me, fighting the black cat or something. I mean, I thought about all this.
可能です犯人は殺人者のことと定義されていますそして殺人は登場人物に対して行われたものにしか限定しないとは言っていません
That's fucky, Burn. That's totally fucky.
すなわちジョージが当該ですでに本件以外の殺人を犯していたならば
That's so fast and loose with it. That is a little fucky. You can make that same argument for anyone. Well, for any number of people, really. I feel like this just delves into freaking Poyo Poyo Pico Poyo, man. The deep red curves bit into the goat. Its massive body was knocked into the air, became about 7 logs of flesh, and was thrown into the rose bushes. This time, the terrible force of the attacks shocked the goats. They faltered, shook, stepped back. Finally, I understood. That red slice. It had come from a weapon that could draw red slashes. No, it also drew blue slashes just a second ago. It was a massive sight that could speak both types of truth, red and blue at will. I looked up at the sky, then let my head hang down backwards. Ew! Ew! What the fuck? Nah, she ain't fucking doing shit. Is she really having her freaking redemption moment? Fuck that. Eric's trick. The Erica trick. I could have never... I totally forgot about freaking Erica. I totally forgot about Furudo Erica. George obviously killed Furudo Erica. There was no black cat there. Erica will return in Umineko Endgame. It was a girl holding a large scythe. Don't say that fucking catchphrase. Oh, no. I dislike you, Furudo Erica. When the crowd of goats recognized the girl who called herself Erica, a stir passed through it. It was clear that this person had enough of a reputation to make them tremble. She is swaggy with it. I fear the scythe is very swaggy. She's so awesome sauce, that scythe. Erica lifted me up, flew into the air and landed on top of the arbor. Then, she let go of me and, still wielding her scythe, made an elegant curtsy to the crowd of goats surrounding us. Oh, this music's sick. This is like the only cool thing she's ever done. The goats all howled at once. It seemed to be a cry of shock, of fear, or possibly of awe. The goats surrounded the arbor, chattering but not moving any closer. None of them had the courage to stand against this detective, this witch of truth, called Furudo Erica. Did she really just pull a yare yare? Yare yare does it. Okay, whatever, Furudo Erica. I see you. She's goofy! Like, that's her thing, she's fucking goofy. Her presence here, in and of itself, is goofy. You know, I really hate to be the guy, but I really don't think at this point what really happened on October 4th and 5th of 1986 really fucking matters. I don't think there's any way of really knowing what happened, actually. And I kind of think that's the whole point of the game. Is we just don't fucking know. You just have to believe in the heart. You have to fucking... Oh, the red web's back. Ugh. When Erica cried out, red cracks opened in the dark night sky. Oh, Ava Beatrice is about to be here. It looked like the spiderweb-shaped fissures that appeared when a glass window had been struck hard. Or was it more like a blood-red spiderweb? This is the fucking Avengers Endgame. This bitch is evil. This one's actually evil. A laugh rang out through the spiderweb-covered world. A witch's laugh. It sounded somehow familiar to Angie. And there, standing on the spiderweb, gazing down on the goats who must have looked like trapped bugs, was the witch. The most evil freaking one. Ava's evil. I do think they do make the point about George having killed someone before he even got to Rokenjima is really stupid and silly, but it does work. It works. It gives... And it works as long as he just doesn't kill Shannon. It was the witch who had hidden inside of Ava, a witch of the future, who would one day call herself the Endless Witch after the catwalks closed over this world. George got bullied and was like, Baka, it's time to reveal my full powers. George just like stabs someone like a total fucking psycho. Yeah. God, I love her fucking voice acting too. Ava swung her one-winged staff at the crowd of foolish goats beneath her, proclaiming their deaths. See ya. The ceiling of spiderwebs that covered the heavens plummeted, and more spiderwebs seeped out of the ground at the goats' feet. What the fuck? Who the fuck just stream booed me? Cursed. It was I don't know, my bot caught it though. Then, the webs from above and below met, and thousands upon thousands of goats were caught in their grasps. Then, as Ava swung her staff, it swirled around and around like egg yolk being mixed in a bowl. That's good writing. I like the idea that Ava is the only person who knew about what actually, who almost certainly actually knew what happened on Rokenjima, but didn't tell anyone. And that kind of is her Beatrice. Like, that's her, like, control over the scenario. Eventually it was all packed into a massive blood-red goo. The moans of goats drifted out from inside. That entire crowd had been compressed into a meatball a few meters across.
あなたたちはエヴァ犯人説で思考停止がお似合いです。
God, she's so creepy. Squelch. No other word could do that sound justice. We get a lot of squelching noise in Umineko. After sucking in all of those goats, the spiderweb ball vanished into thin air with a squelch. After that, there wasn't even a trace left. Those are 3 good faves to have, though. If I had to go for faves, like, for Umineko... Battler is one. I also really like Beatrice, Battler Beatrice. And if I had to pick one more, it's just going to be Lambda, just for the sake that voicing Lambda is always a lot of fun for me. After that, there wasn't even a trace left. The dark rose garden lay there without any sound but that of the falling rain. Ava drifted down from the sky.
おばさんはいつだってエンジェちゃんの味方よ。あなたの家族の悪口を言う人なんか許さないんだから。
And there, I almost think that's why Ava hid it from everybody. This is why I think Ava never told anybody. Because I think she felt it was in her way, her duty to protect Angie. Oh yeah, totally. And I almost... What I've been wondering about the most with Umineko as it comes to its close is a lot of this, what's going on subtextually and what it means for Angie. Like, Angie's kind of like a hidden main character of Umineko. I knew I should be grateful. Oh yeah, totally. And yet, it really wasn't easy for me to believe that Aunt Ava was my ally. Ava realized that too.
いいの。感謝されたくてしてるんじゃな。でも、私はいつだってあなたの味方よ。じゃあね。
She giggled, spun around, and vanished. Now that she had already left, I started to regret not saying even a thank you. So, I figured I should at least thank the other person who had saved me.
助けてくれてありがとう。あなたはどなたですか?
You weren't listening? I already knew her name. What I was really asking was why she had saved me.
私は探偵フルドエリカ。そして同時に魔女でもあります。
Now we live in the world of the detective is the witch.
魔女?
真実の魔女。
Exactly.
一なる真実を追求するものです。
One who searches for the single truth. Erica, if you're searching for the single truth, it's gonna take a while, girly pop.
それはあなたのことでもありますね。
I would not want to be allies with Furudo Erica. Those 2 days, October 4th and 5th, 1986. I've been so desperate to know what happened that I took a step off the roof of that skyscraper, drifted through several witch games, and fragment worlds and abandoned myself to this long journey with no reward. All I want is to know what happened that day. All I want is the single truth of that day.
それを求めるのが真実の魔女です。だからあなたは私と同じなんです。
Furudo Erika is
だから
Angie.
助けに来ました。
What the fuck? How did that freaking do it? I don't understand auto mod, but I keep forgetting to turn it off, and I just, whatever.
私は知りたいの。一体あの日に何があったの？誰も教えてくれない。誰にもわからない。
I feel like I'm starting to get sick.
でも確かにあの日に何かがあったの。
Ugh, I feel like I can like feel it in my fucking throat.
私はそれを知るためなら何だって投げ出せる。
I'll give up anything to learn what that was.
それだけが私が命を捨てても知りたい唯一のことなの。
Yeah. I do have my Zyrtec supply. I might have to start. Years ago, I bought one of those big bottles of Zyrtec from Costco. Super cheap, and I've just been like surviving off it for years. Like, I'm not even typically a person who has allergies that bad in the spring, but ugh. $365? Oh my god. I used to have allergies way worse.
だから教えて。あなたは知っているの？一体この島で何があったの？
真実の魔女にとって真実は与えられるものですか？私がこれが真実だとあなたに押し付けたなら、あなたはそれを
No!
それは違う。
I wouldn't accept that as truth. Because that shit was not said with the red truth.
バトラさんはあなた
In red truth, it's not a real freaking thing.
何を見せてくれましたか？
Today, Oni-chan showed me a bizarre Halloween party. It may have been heartwarming and a lot of fun, but it definitely wasn't the truth. Maybe it was. Fuck, who knows? Didn't Battler-san show you something and say it was the truth? Oh wait, I'm reading. Stop.
あんなの真実じゃない。
Yeah, what she represents, and we've talked about this a lot, is just like a certain type of personality or a certain jaded cynicism that comes with solving riddles, just for the sake of solving them. She's like someone who has no heart, who doesn't look for the heart, who doesn't care about what love can do. She's very driven by the sheer intellectualism of it all.
時に他人は真実だと称して私たちを惑わします。しかし、真実の魔女はそれに惑わされることなく、一なる真実を追求しなければならないのです。だからあなたはバトラさんの押し付ける偽りの真実などに納得できない。本当の一なる真実を求めてやまないのです。
Yeah. Don't listen to fucking Furudo Erika. Please, Angie, I beg you. This is the worst thing you can be freaking doing, is by listening to this goober. You've read the fragments. You've read the fucking fragments, Angie. You know this The lady's crazy. I felt that this whole time. Even though he knows everything about what happened that day, he won't tell me anything at all. How is he any different from Aunt Ava, who mocked me and refused to tell me anything? Even until the moment of her death. Let's be maladjusted with Erica. Why won't Oni-chan tell me? Don't give in to this bullshit, Angie. This is all freaking bullshit. The dam inside my heart burst. Yeah, I would never cry in front of Furudo Erica, because she would just, like, fucking try to lick up the tears or some weird, creepy shit. Like... she's just weird. And not in, like, an endearing way. She's just evil weird. Like, she has complexes. She's very maladjusted. I cried out at the rainy night sky. Hot tears poured from my eyes, but they were covered by the cold rain that beat against me, so no one other than me would know that they were tears. No one would know my pain and sadness. I'm always the only one alone. All alone. Angie, sometimes the less you know, the better. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. No. I had to be right back. I'm sorry. I had to use the restroom. Never mind, I fucked up my mute button. There we go. Now I'm actually gone, for real. Okay, we're back. Sorry, gang. Alright, let's keep trucking. We're doing great. We're kicking ass. We're taking names. Oh, thank you, Hoshi Kuzu. For the follow. Very appreciated. Oh, you're Tickler. Okay. No, I do remember. It's chill. Because you used to hang out, like, episode, like, 4 or 5. Yeah, I remember. So thank you for double dipping your follow on me, obviously. No, it's cool. I did all of this, I got this shit right. I only used 3 hints. It was chill. It was great. Oh my god, Angie. Stop listening to fucking Furuta Erika. Stop listening to her. This is the final episode. This is episode 8. Oh, if you're on episode 7, then you might need to, like, stop. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. This is no, that was not a big spoiler. You're chill. It's super cool. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my god. As that voice rang out, the world bent and swirled. After blinking several times, I realized that the world had become a sea of stars. No, that's not quite right. There are stars up there in the sky, but those lights below me aren't stars. They're lights from buildings' windows, street lights, car lights. I was floating in the dark sky, over a city lined with skyscrapers. Don't do it! Various bad memories are jumping out at me from the back of my mind. That's right. I was chained in place in that strange theater and forced to watch a repulsive fragment where Mom and Dad committed murder. Okay. Yeah? You're back for a second. Okay, I'm looking. I'm literally not gonna... I'm just, like, super chill. But I don't want to spoil Umineko for anybody. Oh my god, you did? I literally had to fight every atom in my... I fought every atom in my body not to do that to myself. Why is that fucking chat restricted? I don't understand fucking Twitch. You didn't say you were fucking fingering the cookie jar. I don't get it. If you said you were fingering the cookie jar, then I would be like, okay, well that makes sense. But you just said fucking fingers in the cookie jar. Okay, so you need help on how you can feel better. Okay, so what I'm gonna say, Tickler / Hoshi Kuzu, is what's gonna bring you through the rest of Umineko is just remembering Umineko's more not really totally about who did the murder, but like why they did it. And what I recommend to do best is to just really think about the characterization. If you can't focus on the actual mystery itself, focus on the characters and like how they're changing, and especially Battler and Beatrice, because ultimately you might not be able to appreciate the mystery that's going on, but there's still a lot to be found like within like the character development and just like all that stuff, which I feel is so crucial. I mean, it's all very much expanded on in episode 8, especially early in episode 8, but I think what would work best for you is just trying to like just look for the heart of the mystery in and of itself. Because I feel it goes really fucking deep. Okay, how I'm coping right now is coming up with my own theory to prove that the culprit is the culprit. That's good too. Like if you know if you know the answer to a riddle, then you could still think about, oh, how did it get there? And I think that would be helpful too. Exactly, that's exactly a good way to look at it. Because even I don't really have an answer for a lot of... I don't have an answer to a lot of the other episodes. Like, I just haven't processed a lot of it now that I know the truth. It took me all the way until the end of episode 6 to just, like, force myself to, like, sit down and start reading it again. And it was through rereading that I picked up one little detail that made me start to suspect what was going on. And it was by using those, Knox's rules for mysteries, which had helped me, especially about the examination of corpses. That's how I did it. Like, some people solve it in, like, episode 5, or... But then I did come up... Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna keep reading. But I guess that was my little, parting advice, is to just... Not necessarily to read for the mystery, but to read for the characters. See ya! Yeah, I agree, Eric. I hope I've provided a lot of, like, theme analysis of Umineko here and there throughout my streams. Because as I've said before, I'm not, like, a mystery guy. I'm just not very familiar with the genre. I've had to learn a lot of shit just by playing Umineko. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. That shit was fucking with me so bad.
とは限らないと続けようとしたのよ。あんたはどこまで私をもてあそぶ気なのよ。
Yeah, fucking with Angie like that is kind of terrible.
それは謝るわ。
No, you're not. You're not sorry.
試したかったの。何をよ。あなたがどのようなものであれ、真実を受け止める覚悟があるのかどうか。
You're not sorry, Fern. You don't care.
真実は時として期待を裏切るわ。あるいは最も望まない形をとることもある。あなたに見せたあのかけらは、おそらくあなたにとっては想像しうる限りの一番最悪なかけらでしょうね。でもそれに耐えてでも真実を求める力と勇気がなければ。
I'm gonna switch back to my voices.
真実に近づく。
I need to do my reading. I have no comeback. Finding the truth is my goal. I just want to know what happened on that island on that day. I don't like to think that I only want to hear what I want to hear. I kind of just forgot about it too, so it's chill. I just forgot. Am I really prepared to face the bloody, unbearable truth that probably awaits me? If I find the truth, it'll mean having to look straight at my family's tragic final moments and accepting them as they are. And if I do accept that, it means abandoning my faint hope for a convenient miracle. The idea that one of them might have survived somehow and might return even though 12 years have passed. I know a miracle like that would be completely ridiculous, but if I'm honest with myself, I have to admit that I've been comforted by that faint hope these past 12 years. I want to know the truth, but I want one of them to come back. Those two wishes contradict each other. By learning the truth, I'll be forced to accept that no one's coming home. The truth is always cruel. At times, it can even cut down your hopes. Most of the time, humans don't realize the costs of learning the truth. I simply wanted to see if you had the necessary resolve. I must choose between my two contradicting wishes. Will I find the truth and abandon my optimistic hopes for my family's return? Or will I give up on the truth and keep waiting for the family that will never really return for all eternity? Will I freeze up and let myself be fooled by the childish illusion my brother made for me? Tell me, Angie, are you truly determined to learn the truth? I am. And your resolve will not falter. It won't. After hearing my immediate reply, Berncastle stared at me. Are those expressionless eyes of hers measuring my resolve? Now that my brother is covering up the truth even after becoming Game Master, the only thing I can rely on in my search for the truth is the path that Berncastle can show me. I just don't, dog. Deep in your eyes, I see the glint of one who seeks the truth. Will you tell me? Will you show me the way that leads to the truth? Yes, I'll guide you. Did you forget, Angie? I'm your guardian, right? How long has it been since I last heard Berncastle use that word? Yes, I haven't heard it since the very beginning, when I met her in this future world and became a witch, with her as my guardian. That's when I became the Beatrice of 1998, the one who could defeat the Beatrice of 1986. You were the Beatrice of 1998, Angie Beatrice. I became your guardian and recognized you as a witch. However, you aren't an endless witch like Beato. A witch of truth. That's right. You're like Erica, a witch of truth, who will seek the single truth, undeceived by any illusions. I guess the witch of truth, Angie Beatrice, has the power to reach the single truth. Yes. However, up until now, you have been unable to use this power. Do you know why? I do now. Even though I searched for the truth, I unconsciously resisted learning the truth. Exactly. Finding the truth was your goal, but at the same time, you were unconsciously afraid that learning the truth would mean losing that miracle of your family coming back. I've never seen Hill House. So, You didn't have what it took to stretch your hand out to the single truth. Yeah. Oh, it's a book. Okay. For some reason I thought it was a movie. I've never read Hill House. You're completely right. I have to admit that I was naive. I must admit it. My entire family is dead. Now that I've acknowledged it, I must expose why they died and who was behind it. Stop, Angie. This fucking sucks. Don't let yourself succumb. Whoa! No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed, by some, to dream. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood for 80 years and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steady against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there, walked alone. Oh, that's great writing. Thanks. The fragments you showed me in that dark theater was there to open my eyes. Many, many games have gone by, waiting for you to become a true Witch of Truth. But I think there was a purpose to it all. After all, now, in this final game, you really have become a Witch of Truth. Tell me, what happened on that island that day? I won't ask you to tell me directly, so guide me. What can I do to reach the truth? It's a bit too chilly here. Let's move. To where? To a place better for drinking tea. I'm just gonna keep saving like a freaking nut job at this point, because we're at the end of the game anyways. We might as well just start overlapping our saves. A massive applause filled the hall. It was an applause in honor of a good fight. An applause in honor of Burncastle. Yes, Lady Burncastle's game was another splendid one. We're going to reveal her game board to everyone here, so have a go at it. It's pretty awesome. But you solved it in the end all the same. A game that no one can solve isn't a game. The main point is whether it was fun or not. It's fun. I guarantee it's quality. Same here. At first, I thought there was no way anyone could solve it, but the way you can use one confirmed purple statement after another to narrow down the suspects made for a great puzzle. Come, everyone, gather. Just what sort of game is Lady Burncastle's mystery? That's for you to find out for yourselves. Objects resembling chessboards were set on reading is hard. Were set out on several tables. Crowds gathered around each, looking down with interest. Oh, it's like a logic puzzle. Quite an orthodox one, don't you think? So this is what a witch's game is like. Looking at like this, it's just a game. But for the pieces, it's a massive series of crimes. Indeed it is. It would not do to waste such a rare gift from Lady Burncastle. Let us take this opportunity to enjoy ourselves. Still, this is a tough one. It almost makes you wonder if it was made to be solvable, doesn't it? Delanor is cool as hell. If you don't start by believing that it's made to be solvable, you won't get anywhere. A battle of wits doesn't begin until you trust the questioner and believe that it can be solved. By the way, how much Umineko is left? Because there really can't be a lot left here. I feel like I can finish this by the end of the week. Oh, I'm 2/5 through, or I got 2/5 left. I didn't even think about the tea parties. Okay. Okay, so we're good. We're fine. This is a really long episode then, damn. And we guarantee that it is. Come on, have a go at it. With Battler's encouragement, discussions over Berncastle's mystery game began at each table. The mix of humans and illusions and heated debate was truly a sight to behold. Beato and Berncastle sat in a chair far off from the discussions. Would you like some tea? Any kind of calming black tea for me. With milk, if you don't mind. I need more Beato Battler slop. I need some more. Give me more. Yum yum yum. Slurp up my slop. Is there anything you need, Lady Berncastle? Please add some dried plums to some black tea. That's the trick to make terrible tea drinkable. Shut up. Come now, don't sulk. We're honestly complimenting your game for being such a fun one. Beato, who had emerged victorious in the game Berncastle had put all her heart into, was in extremely high spirits. I'm not sulking. My face just looks this way. Shut up! When I managed to spot Burn's own kind of warmth in that expression, I felt like I'd climbed to the pitch-black top of a snowy mountain to find a beautiful star. Well, sorry for having an eternally frosty face. How difficult it is to compliment Lady Berncastle. No matter what you say, she always takes it in a bad way. That's okay. She's the type who'll keep thinking about it for hours later on. The type who lies in bed, relishing it while hugging her pillow. Yep, that's Bern for you. Beato and Lambda Delta giggled together. Berncastle shrugged and looked away. Seriously though, that was a fun game with a twist. You think so? Thank you. You could have made it unsolvable, but you still made it to be solved. You couldn't have done that unless you planned on playing fair and enjoying the game. I like games where I win no matter what. Games that I might lose are just pain. Later, I like to switch sides and try another one. I'll make a puzzle and we'll see if you can solve it. A game for you to win against me. Of course, I'll use all the know-how I picked up from my fights with Beato to make it super hard. I'm not giving up my winning streak that easily. Both you and Beato have such an interesting way of thinking. How's that? A game is just a means to decide who wins and loses, right? When you create one, your own victory should be your highest priority. So why would you go to all the trouble of making a game you might lose? What fun is there in a game you always win? Thank you, Battler. Umineko should be mandatory reading for everyone. I'm gonna be like the Umineko's biggest freaking supporter for like the rest of my life, very likely. I will be the ultimate Umineko head. That's not even a game. Victory and defeat. It's fun because you're taking part in a fair competition, balanced between those two outcomes. A game isn't a fight. It's communication. I've never played Portal 1. I've only played Portal 2. God, I can't wait to stream Disco Elysium after this, though. It's gonna be so fucking fun. It's communication. You have to enjoy the means. And if you manage to win in the end, well, that's just an added bonus. Finally, I clearly understand how the difference between how all of you think and how I think. What do you mean? For you, this is communication. It isn't for me. The world you live in must be pretty savage. Portal 2 is so good, you don't even need to play Portal 1. I'm so unk, I had that shit on CD. And what about you? Wasn't it the same for you until you understood Beato's game? An eternal game is eternal torture. Have you already completely forgotten about that pain you suffered? There were days I did think that, but now it's all been resolved. I won't complain about stuff that's in the past. I'm impartial, you might say. That is the critical difference between you and me, I think. Your eternal torture was something you could laugh off and forget. Mine wasn't nearly so trivial. That's all there is to it. I don't know your history. It sounds like you had it rough. To think I'm getting sympathy from a mere former piece, I must be getting old. Burncastle, sipping the black tea that Genji had brought her, gazed up at the ceiling with a faraway look. Battler may not have known her history, but even he was able to understand a bit of how she felt. Are you being tortured by someone right now? Are you kidding? I'm as free as can be. I'm not bound by anyone's shackles. Then that's a good thing, isn't it? At least things are better for you now. True. It's much better now than it once was. Though, I am on a long, endless journey to escape from boredom. God, you sound like me, Burn. Jesus. Then, at the very least, us meeting here should have been a good thing for you. Indeed. Even the taste of defeat can keep my boredom at bay, somewhat. No. Battler shook his head and laughed. We're friends who've enjoyed fighting in a fair game. So, if your days are filled with nothing but running away from boredom, feel free to drop by our place every now and then. We'd love to welcome a friend. We'll be able to set up everything needed to help a friend escape from boredom. You think you can prepare a welcome interesting enough to help me, the great Burncastle, escape boredom for even a single night? I do. That's what it means to be a friend. We won tonight's game. So, the next time you come, we'll switch sides. This time, we'll entertain you with one of our games. Of course, we don't intend to let you win easily. We'll challenge you to a devilishly twisted logic game. It won't be something you can solve in a night. It'll be good enough to make you stay for months, racking your brain over it. You would entertain me, the great Burncastle, as a friend. Yeah, we would. After talking with you, even this dried plum is starting to taste sickly sweet. What a pain. I heard from Beato. Sounds like the dried plum tea stuff is one of your favorites. Next time, we'll throw in some high-class dried plums covered in gold leaf, so make sure you come again. If you really plan to do that, try finding some better tea to start with. I'll never feel like coming again if you keep serving tea like this. Come on. I guess the tea you're used to drinking is pretty damn high class. Next time, why don't you invite us somewhere where we can drink some of that? Me. Invite you over? It's only fair, right? We've treated you. Now it's your turn. Yeah, would only be fair. So let's have the game be fair too. Let's switch sides and start a new game. I'm looking forward to it. We won this time, but who knows about the next? That's some confidence you have there. Yet I'm afraid you're mistaken on one point. What's that? My game isn't over yet. I wonder who will win in the end. After taking one more sip of her black tea, Berncastle set her cup on the table, wearing a thin smile. The tea here's far too sweet. It was a mistake to have any. Thank you, Genji. Take this away, please. As you wish. Berncastle asked for her tea to be taken away after taking only 2 sips. This is where shit gets fucky again. Battler smiled, realizing that this was just Burn's way of being shy. Battler, why are you smiling with such a foolish, optimistic face? If you really think this final game will be nothing but a happy epilogue, then I'll have to invite you all to a proper game for bringing this tale to a close. Battler, you forget too easily. Don't you remember in whose hand lie the key to this final game? Angie. The inside of my nose itched. I've never regained consciousness to a smell before. Slowly, I opened my eyes. Wait, when did I lose consciousness in the first place? I don't remember going to sleep or falling unconscious. That's right. Berncastle invited me to come to a place better for drinking tea. That's when my memory gets hazy. And since the smell of black tea is what woke me up, where am I? Aurora's study. Aurora's study, sorry. I hate to admit it, but her taste in tea really is excellent. I was sitting on what appeared to be a sofa in a dimly lit study. Berncastle sat across from me, and right before my eyes was a beautiful cup filled with hot, steaming tea. Isn't this the place? I remembered. I've been here before, wasn't it? How pleasant it is to see you again, child of man. Yes, that voice. Just hearing it brings back memories. Long time no see, my master. I didn't think I would get the chance to welcome you into my study again. To think that that game of yours is still continuing. It won't be continuing much longer. This is the end, the true final game. Is she gonna make me do this again? This is the study of Featherine Augustus Aurora, the majestic witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating. Once in the past, I was summoned by her and ordered to be her reader, her Miko. Don't tell me you want me to read again. What? What? I think it's really interesting that read is capitalized. I wasn't the one who called you. I wasn't the one who called you here. My Miko brought the two of us together. Why? Isn't it obvious? To show you the path that leads to the truth. You'll show me the way, Featherine. Well, I am the Witch of Theater going, though I dislike interfering with the actors on the stage. So, would you rather watch Battler's boring play, or my exciting one that manipulates the branching paths of fate? I know you can't stand even a minute of boredom. As Featherine rocked her rocking chair, she looked up at the ceiling and chuckled. She clearly holds some key to the truth I seek. And yet, you are literally the one holding the key. I can do nothing but tell you where to find the keyhole, child of man. I don't remember saying anything out loud, but Featherine answered my questions as I thought I had. As though I had? As though I had. Reading's hard, gang, sorry. Come to think of it, that's right. Featherine can read the thoughts of a mere child of man like me as easily as she can hear me speak. Well, I guess that'll help us get to the point quicker. Oni-chan did give me this key, but then he just said something about how I know how to use it when the time was right. Didn't say a word about what it was used for. Do you two know? What is this key for? Oni-chan said it was for something very precious. Explain, Umineko. No way. You explain. You demand that your master explain. You've got to go on the stage every now and then. Otherwise, we'll just get senile all the faster. My. And yet I just enjoyed some long overdue time on the stage when Angie was reader, which should last me several centuries at least. Tell me, what is this key? A physical manifestation of the decision you are to make. This tale, this game, will end when you are asked to make a certain decision. What you hold there is the act of your decision embodied in the form of a key. I feel like that was kind of obvious. The physical manifestation of my decision. Exactly. Battler was probably planning to end it by putting you in front of two doors, both of which can be opened by the key. Then he would ask you to choose which door to open. He must have told you that much, right? No, he didn't tell me anything at all. He just kept saying things like, you'll know when the time comes. He won't tell me anything. Not Oni-chan, not anyone. Battler probably wants to respect your right to make a decision of your own free will. But Angie, you should have at least started to figure it out by now, right? Figure what out? There's an answer Battler wants you to choose, isn't there? Those words made my heart jump in my chest. It was what I had been thinking. Oni-chan is clearly trying to trick me with that vague tale, almost like a daydream. It'll take me even farther away from the truth. At the 1986 family conference, everyone had a wonderful time as they faded away. Everyone is smiling down on you from heaven, so you don't need to feel alone, even in 1998. So give it your all and live on by yourself. I've clearly sensed Oni-chan's desire to end it like that. Every time I ask him about it, he dodges the issue and says something about how the decision will be mine in the end. That's right. It may appear as though Battler is giving you a fair choice, but he's actually scheming to get you to choose a certain one of those two answers. Yeah, and you wonder why. Because Burns trying to make you to take the other choice, stupid asshole. You've already seen the farce of a tale he's using to do that, right? That bizarre Halloween party. With everyone acting so strange and friendly that was almost sickening. I've already seen more than enough of that tale, so sickly sweet it makes me want to vomit. Where Ushir and the Akinzo showered me with affection, where his children swore to support each other, where everyone was filled with happiness and hope. He's trying to trick me with those chummy scenes so he can keep me away from the truth. He's such a coward. True, it might be easy to call him a coward from your own perspective, but remember, if you are a player in this game and if Battler is the game master, what does that imply? In the past, Battler was a player and Beato was the game master. And they fought each other for their own respective... And they each fought for their own respective truths. Holy shit, okay. So what's happening this time? I'm a player and Oni-chan's the game master. Could it be that I've misunderstood everything from the very beginning? Oni-chan said he'd tell me what happened on that day, so I assumed that following him meant I'd learn everything. Isn't that the same as, say, Oni-chan accepting everything Beato said about the crime being the work of a witch? What a stupid mistake I've been making. No! No, it's not. It's not a stupid mistake. Battler's fucking right. Only with love can it be seen, Angie. What the fuck? So this game has always been a fight between me and Oni-chan? I'm surprised you joined in without realizing that. Battler really is sly. He quickly started up the final game without letting you realize that simple fact. Well, it was the same back in Beato's games. Battler was drawn into her game before he even knew what was happening. Before he even knew how to fight. That's why I taught him how. And now it's exactly the same. You were forced to start this game before you understood anything about it, and I've come to tell you the truth. Tell you who you're fighting against and for what. I was too shocked to speak. And finally, I realized what I needed to accomplish in this game. I've always been passive. I was sure that Oni-chan would tell me everything, so I naively thought I just had to believe whatever he said. I was wrong. That's not what this is. This is a battle between me, the one who wants to reach the truth, and Oni-chan, who wants to trick me and chase me out into a 1998 where I'm all alone. All this time, I've kept on saying that Oni-chan was foolish and naive, and now I see that I was more naive than anyone else. And yet Burncastle didn't sneer at me. On the contrary, she looked at me with that cold gaze, as if to say, "So you've finally taken your first step. Now do you understand your own purpose? And the purpose of that key?" I gripped the key Oni-chan had hung around my neck. And for a while, I shook with an emotion that even I couldn't understand. Now that I know Oni-chan tricked me, it would be easy to hate him. But hating him would be missing the point. After all, this is a game between me and him. Oni-chan has done nothing but make the optimal moves for winning against me. If games aren't a playful way to communicate, if they're the process that decides who wins and who loses, there can be no fair games. The best strategy is always to trick your enemy into defeat without telling them the rules before they even know what's going on. In that sense, Oni-chan hasn't done anything wrong. He's using that sickly sweet illusion to trick me and force me into a lonely future. They'll be the only ones having a good time in the cat box, and I'll be the only one chased out. Thank you. I'm grateful. I think I've finally been able to truly open my eyes. Please don't hate Battler. After all, one-sidedly tricking your opponent is what game masters do. I know. Oni-chan took the best option from his perspective. That's all there is to it. So I need to make the best possible moves from my perspective. My goal is now clear. October 4th and 5th, 1986. What happened on Rokkenjima on those days? I need to tear off the veil covering the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Oni-chan gave me this key, probably because he wants me to put it into the keyhole of his choosing. That's why he keeps showing me this sentimental bullshit illusion. But I won't be fooled anymore. I'll open the door I want to open. Certainly, this kind of tale is more my liking than one where Angie does whatever Battler says. And this time, I'll let you run the show from here on out. Tell Angie. Tell her where to find the keyhole that leads to the truth is. Tell me. Where is the keyhole? Very well. First off, have a seat. I'll go and get it for you. When Featherine rose from her rocking chair, my vision seemed to twist and bend. What is this? Some kind of interference? Why now, when Featherine's about to show me something important? Why is my head getting suddenly... I dug my fingernails into my knees, clenching my teeth to keep from losing consciousness. However, the world just kept twisting more and more. Except for the feel of the sofa beneath me, I couldn't sense anything at all. Ooh, it's creepy. Lady? Huh? Looks like they've arrived. And this is Chijo Toya. The door opened and Hachijo Toya appeared. What's going on? This isn't the world of witches, but the world of humans? I was sitting on a sofa, and Amakusa was behind me. There's no need to feel confused. Featherine and Hachijo Toya are the same being. To her, the difference between the two worlds is a trivial thing. To put it in words of that theater lover, it's like having a slightly different background behind the stage. So there was no reason for me to feel hesitant. Should I call you Madame Hachijo this time? How complicated names are. Even though both of us are still here, just like before, you have to wonder what to call me. True. Calling you Featherine would be a bit rude to you now. For an actor, the name of the role they act is only temporary. Precisely, child of man. Featherine. Amakusa's eyes went wide as he wondered what I was suddenly talking about. I ignored him and continued. So, what are you going to show me? As I spoke, my eyes were caught by that heavy-looking object she held under her arm. At a glance, it looked like an encyclopedia with a fancy binding. Do you know what this is? As Featherine spoke, she set the heavy object on the table. The first thing it reminded me of was a grimoire. The heavy book had a mysterious, mystical feel to it, like something Maria One-chan might carry around. And the most remarkable feature of it was the large, sturdy lock that held it shut. Why would someone go so far to keep people from reading a book? Why don't you take it and observe the back? The back. I flipped the heavy book over on my lap, and as soon as I saw it, I gave a small gasp. Ava. Ushiramiya. Ushiramiya Ava! Without a doubt, those words were written there in Roman characters. What is this? On Ava's diary? Could this be that rumored... Do you know something about this? Just a rumor. They say that President Ava had a secret diary and that she always kept it locked up. They say she took it with her everywhere she went, and at least that's what I heard from some of the other bodyguards. This is so fucked up. This is so not Red Truth. Secret diary? Why is it here? It was in the hospital room where Ushiramiya Ava passed away. But this diary was hidden behind her bed, so it remained in that room for some time after her death before it was found. Then, by coincidence, it was probably found by someone who worked for the hospital, or else a patient or their family. Of course, by that time, there was a huge movement dedicated to the Rokunjima mystery. A locked diary found in the room where Ushiramiya Eva spent her last moments would be absolutely priceless. The discoverer probably handed it over in secret to one of the witch hunters who would be able to accurately determine its worth. Luckily, the witch hunters who got their hands on this book were all noble and upright people. Not content to boorishly destroy the lock and reveal the truth, they simply satisfied themselves with the fact that the truth of that day slumbered just on the other side of this mysterious lock. Thanks to that, Ava's diary has remained undamaged to this very day. It is already known that Natsui, wife of Kraus, the oldest son of Kinzo, sealed up all of her complaints and repressed feelings by writing them down in a diary, which she treated like a sort of charm. So, Aunt Ava did the same thing? It's possible, at least. Opening up a diary like this would be a pain, even if you did have a key. It's sealed up tight like a corset. Amakusa was right. This wasn't a diary made to be casually opened and reminisced over. It's probably safe to assume that she had used this diary to forget things by writing them down and sealing them away, just like Ushiramiya Natsui did. Then she brought it with her into her hospital room and hid it behind the bed without telling anyone about it. Don't tell me that the diary is... Are you saying Aunt Ava wrote down what happened that day? By reading its contents, you will probably learn everything. However, we don't know where the key that unlocks it is. I jump. Then I look down at my chest. It's where my brother hung that key. Huh? It's gone! The key's gone! What's wrong, lady? What key? It's been hanging from my neck the whole time, hasn't it? I never noticed it. You had a key hanging from your neck? I understood almost immediately. In the world of humans, I haven't found the key. The me with the key is on the game board in the world of witches. Make me the me with the key. I'm going to unlock this diary. Featherine lifted a finger, spun it around, and the world twisted again. When I returned to Featherine's study, the key popped back into existence, hanging from my neck. Ooh! But at the same time, the diary on my lap popped out of existence. Where did the diary go? It should exist somewhere on the game board. Since it is one of the keyholes you are to be given, it must exist. Did Oni-chan hide it somewhere? Since Battler wants this to be a game between you and him, it probably isn't hidden completely. What do you mean? Even if Battler thinks of the diary as a king he mustn't lose, there must be no game unless it exists somewhere on this board. In other words, it's somewhere in the Ushiramiya mansion? Or you may already have been given an opportunity to witness it. Like how a swindler has already hidden a trap in microscopic letters on the first page of a contract you sign. If Battler follows the customs of the mystery genre as the game master, clues must be shown. So the choice that leads to Battler's defeat must have been shown. Angie, try it and remember. You should have seen Ava's diary in Battler's world already. Oh, where did we see it? I swear we saw it somewhere. In that instant, from the back of my mind, drifted the very first scene of this final game. Ah, the chapel! That's right. In the chapel, a book was lying on the altar, a book with a lock on it. As soon as I showed interest in that book, my brother suddenly grew stern and told me not to touch it. It was on Ava's diary. That's right. Ushirimiya Ava's diary, the book of the single truth, with the truth of that day written inside of it. The book of the single truth. Is the truth really inside it? After all, there's a chance that it's just something on Ava. I'll say it in red. Ushirimiya Ava's diary, the book of the single truth, has the truth of Rokunjima during October 4th and 5th, 1986, recorded within it. Umineko no Naku Koro ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. That's where we're gonna end today, gang. What a stream. Oh, I'm so glad I solved that shit. I love Umineko. I'm a big fucking Umineko fan. Stop. I'm done. Okay. Well, we'll be back tomorrow for our regularly scheduled content. And we just need freaking Angie to find the freaking heart in this freaking shit. Not to give in the freaking truth-obsessed burn castle and all this freaking goofy-ass bullshit. She just needs to find the fucking heart. She needs to realize sometimes we just gotta be fucking chill. Alright. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Bye!